What's going on, everyone? You're welcome once again to David Data channel. If this is your first time, you're a returning viewer. Thanks so much for stopping by. Alright, so I know my last video was about 50 days ago. A lot of stuff has been going on personally with me, but I'm really back now and excited to make more contents for you. Alright, so today's video we're going to be doing a project, end-to-end project with DBT for dimensional modeling. Basically, we're going to pick a data set, put in a database, and then do some dimensional modeling on that database with dbt. I know in our previous videos we're talking about modeling, dimensional modeling, what it is, how it is, and what are the things you need to do in creating your dimensional modeling for your data set, for your transactional data set. In this project, we're going to just see how we can get that done with dbt using a sample data set. Right, I know a lot of people, they try to do analysis from their transactional database, but we are saying you can move your data into your data warehouse or another system for your analysis purposes, and then you transform it or model it using dbt, and then you are good to go. All right, so first off is that you would have to have installed dbt on your system, or you have dbt cloud accounts that you're using, right? So you can check that in the link above, in the link in the description below, for the last video we did on how to install dbt. And then next you're going to have to install Postgres on your system. I'm going to be using Postgres for this tutorial. Postgres database installed with Docker on my system, and dbt-core installed also on my system. Right, you can check the videos for dbt in the link above. I won't be doing a video on how to install Postgres, but if you think I need to get that done for you, you can tell me in the comment section, and I'm going to make a video on how to install install Postgres with Docker on your system. The next thing is that I'll show you the data set online, and give you the link to download the data set. And then the next thing you would have to do would be to what's it called, load the dataset into your Postgres database. Again, I'm not going to be showing us how to load the dataset into Postgres, but if you feel you need a video on how to install or rather load your restore your data in your Postgres database, you can let me know in the comment section. I'm going to also do a video on that as well. So that out of the way, dbt installed, Postgres installed, what's it called, Postgres installed. You have connected dbt to Postgres successfully. Once you check that dbt installation video, you understand what I'm talking about. And what's the next thing? You have loaded data into your Postgres database. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to try to walk through the data sets, right? We're going to try to understand the data set, look at the schema diagram, try to get some business context about the data set. And then once we're done with that, the next video would be on cleaning the data set, right? So let's jump over to my screen right now. Alright, so now we are on my screen for our dbt project. dbt installed, Postgres installed. This is our booking schema, and we can see the tables that we have from our dataset. So interesting stuff. While we go to dataset, I had already done this video showing how I did everything step by step. But then when I began editing, I realized my audio wasn't recorded. So I'm basically going to show you what I've already done. And I'm going to put a link to the GitHub repo so you can include the GitHub repo and continue work with me. Alright, so this dataset is a Postgres demo database called Airlines. There's a small version, medium version, big version. I downloaded the big version. Like I said, I'm going to be sharing how to restore your DB. There's a little step here, but this is not what I use because my Postgres is on Docker. So you can just make a little search on how to restore your DB on Postgres server if it's on Docker or if it's on local on your system. But then if you're thinking in the video, you could just put in the comment section. Alright, so this is the data set we are going to be using from Postgres DB, a demo database called Airlines. So on a side note, I made a video where I was doing this like as I was doing it, especially like the dbt side of things, but then I realized when I was editing that my audio wasn't recorded, so that's why I'm now showing you what I've already done. So by the time I go to dbt, I realize I've already done most of the models there for the first part of things. So the first part is for us to understand the data set, and that's why we're here. I'm going to put the link of these data sets to on the description below and on Git, so you can download it from there. And yeah, this is just really what it is, right? So for downloading data sets on my Postgres DB, I use this. There's small, there's medium, there's large. Small for 1 month, large, medium for 3 months, large for 1 year. I downloaded the one for large, and then I restored it, opened it, and then restored it to my Postgres DB on Docker. If you're using Postgres on your local system, perhaps this may work for you. I use Docker, which was a little bit different. So if you really want a video on how to restore it on Docker, you could put on the chat and on the comment section, and I'll do a video on that. Okay. The next thing I want to do now is to check the schema diagram of the data set. So if you come to Postgres, we'll see that we have 8 tables here, and then let's go over here. We have 8 tables here as well. We have the bookings feeding into we have tickets and ticket flights, airports, flights, boarding pass, aircraft, and seats. Looking at this, you could already tell what are the facts and what are the dimensions. But we're not going there yet. Just want to look at this and try to understand this, right? I'm going to put this image as well in the GitHub repo so you can visualize it, look at it better, and try to understand the relationships, right? And then the next thing is the schema description. I try to explain like the business relationship between all these schema diagrams, and this is quite a long read. I'm going to put this image as well in the GitHub repo so you can read it and understand the business side of things. Please ignore the background noise. All right. Okay. And yeah, this is it for the schema description. It says the main entity is a bookings, right? One booking can include several passengers with a separate ticket issued to each passenger, right? One booking can have several passengers with separate tickets issued to each passenger, right? The ticket has a unique number and includes information about the passenger. So the ticket is a unique number with information about the passenger. As such, a passenger is not a separate entity. Both the passenger's name and identity document numbers can change over time. So it is impossible for this data set you're working with, it's impossible to uniquely identify all the tickets of a particular person. So you can't tell and say, oh, David has 5 tickets, because as you say, the person's name or identity can change over time. So for simplicity, we are assuming that all passengers are unique for this data set and for this project. So that's sort of a thing. Okay, so let's head over down to DBT. Like I said, I already done everything because I realized my audio wasn't being recorded. So let's say you are installing DBT for the first time, you're doing your Postgres for the first time, you want to check a connection, you run dbt debug, and then we confirm that your connections is working very well. Your profiles.yml file, which is sitting somewhere in your users part on your system, right? If you go to your user, yeah, you're going to find this guy. If you're using dbt-core precisely, right, you will find this guy in here. This is where your profile, your connection configuration sits, right? So just check, if you don't install dbt, check the project, the video in the description below on how to install dbt, right? Okay, and dbt underscore YAML does project file exist, is okay and valid, git exists and valid, connection okay, we are good to go. And then from my profiles YAML file, you realize that my host is localhost, my port is 5432, my user is root, database is demo, and then my schema that I want to create my dbt transformation is called dbt dev, right? And yeah, application name dbt, number of retry is 1. Addressed adapter, Postgres dbt adapter 1.6.2. Okay, so first I went off to see that dbt has best practices, right? You can check this out. I'll probably put the link. dbt has some best practice on how to structure a dbt project, right? Because analytics engineering at its core is about helping a group of humans collaborate better on decision makings at scale. Okay, so this is like a test dbt project that structures how things should be. So first you have like your staging and your source, and then from your staging and your source you have your maybe intermediate, and then your math, which is the final layer that will be used by your end users. Your staging layer is where you put in your source, do some minor transformations as the case may be, and stuff like that. So for our case, I created the staging folder inside of models, right? It's in your models. Yeah, and then I created my airline source YAML file, right? So on dbt you can declare a source, right? So I have declared my source here. So there are options. Instead of using one YAML file, you could have a YAML file for each of these files. So it could be, say, stage, airline, aircraft underscore data dot YAML to put the model configurations for each of these models, right, in your staging folder. So but then at this point, at my sources, I'm just declaring my sources. I named my source airline. If I'm too fast, please put in the comment section so I can know how to reduce my speed in the next part of these videos of this series. And then database demo, which is what is called on Postgres. My schema is bookings. These are the 8 tables we have here. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Shouldn't it be 8? One is missing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So one is missing. I have aircraft data, I have airport data, I have boarding passes, I have bookings, I don't have flights. So let's see. Okay, save this. So let me confirm that if flights would need any form of cleaning. Bookings dot flight. Okay, it doesn't need anything. Alright, so I save this. I'm gonna now create the file. Okay, so this is a good thing. So we can use this to do every other thing I did not do. So basically, I created this my source there. You could add description if you want to add description, right, for each of the models. Let's see, description for your documentation purposes. This contains aircraft information. So dbt allows us to document as well, right? So you can add descriptions for each of them. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to create our staging model. So we have 7 except flight, so I'm just going to create flight staging model now. I'm going to create a new file. I'm going to call it stage underscore airline, which is the name of my data source, and double dash flight.sql. All right, so another interesting thing I did was that dbt allows us to use some packages, and for this project I installed 2 packages, codegen and dbt-core. Right, the first layer of our project is where what's it called, is where we do some minor transformations, right, that sort of thing. So let me see, let me open the seat. So this kind of a thing, we use the source function as well, and then do it into CTE. I may not want to write all these things myself. dbt allows with dbt code gen package. I can actually just what's it called? I can actually do that myself. So let's go here to create. I want to generate base model. So I'm going to use this package to generate base model. So it's a macro already installed from that package. I'll just pick up this macro and then run dbt run operation, generate base model with the argument source name and table name, and it's going to generate the SQL for me. I'm just going to copy it and paste it in our project. Okay, so source name is airline and table name is flight. Oh no. Okay, so I want to take off that dollar sign there. Okay, so hit enter. Awesome, so you can see dbt code gen has created this model for us. So I'm just going to come here, copy this, found 8 models, found 8 sources. Awesome, and then I paste. Voila, I save. That is good to go. Yeah, so that's what I used to create all these models, right? I just copied and pasted and generated the SQL for this model. So why are we not just doing select star inside of these models, right? We're not doing select star because we believe that if there are minor transformations like standardizing your column names or doing some data type transformations, you want to do that in your staging layer, right? So that's why dbt we're saying let us do some minor transformation here, and we also did some more transformations which I'm going to show you after now. All right, so that is done. That's what we did there. So the next part we are not going to do is cleaning our data, right? So once we clean our data, what do we do? So let's go to Postgres for example. So if we open airport data, select star from airports data. Yeah, so you notice that we have the airport code and then we have the airport name, but then this is in a JSON format. English name, Russian name, also city too, English name, Russian name. Time zone, we have Asia, which is the continent, and then the city. So we don't want to load this guy like this into our data warehouse from our transformation, because we believe that by the next time we want to be using the data, we don't want to be doing this transformation at every stage. We want to create a system so that anybody that will eventually come to use this data would just be working with the clean data set. And so that's why we did some simple transformations with this. This way I did it up here, airport data. So Postgres has a JSON function. If we come to Postgres site here, we find this JSON function dash with double forward arrow. You put in your JSON colon with this function and hits your key. You know, your JSON is like your key and value. Hits the key and returns the value. So basically that's what we did, right? So we said our column is airport name, our what's it called, the key is en. So return the value of en as airport English name, return the value of ru on airport name as airport Russian name. In the city, return the value of en as city English name. In ru, return the ru the city value for ru as city Russian name. Now for the time zone, like you saw previously, let me just add time zone here. Time zone. So you'll notice that there's a forward slash in the middle. So we use the split part function. The first part of it splits or the forward splits this time zone column on the forward slash. The guy in front in your split part is your first part is the continent. We call it time zone continent, and the guy on the second is your time zone city. So basically, we are doing these simple transformations and we are putting it in our staging layer. So if I come to airports data, yeah, you'll find this here as well. So this is what I've done. I just copied that and then put it in here, so that by the time we run this our transformed staging data on our DB, we are going to have the clean data as we want it to be on our DB, and every other thing we're building will be based on this guy. And notice that also we use the source function, right, as the code generated. We are not referencing the exact, like the direct port. We're using the source function. One of the benefits of using the dbt source functions or dbt-ref function is that it helps us to show lineages. So as we progress, we're going to do generate documentation and generate the lineage, and we're going to view the lineage of our project, right? So that other people can benefit from this. And I think we also did a transformation on aircraft data as well, as you can see here, right? And where else did we do? So I think that was just the few. Okay, we also did on tickets as well. Contact name was a JSON that had phone and email as a JSON column. So we said, where is the phone? Return the phone number. Where is an email? Return it as email. So basically that's what it is. And right now I'm just going to run dbt run. So when I run dbt run, it's going to run all these, materialize these views in dbt. So you can see created view in our Postgres database. And one more thing I did was that I also did a global configuration setup here. So basically with our dbt underscore project YAML file, we can do a what's it called, some level of configuration for our folder structure. So I said everything in the staging folder we should materialize as a view. So if we go to Postgres, we'll see that everything we've done will be a view. And if it's on the maths folder, materialize it as a table. Alright, so let's go to Postgres and let's refresh, since we just added the flights table, and that was a good thing for us. So now it's not going to be in this booking schema. dbt has created a dbt_dev schema. In my profiles.yaml file, I stated that I want my dev to create a schema called dbt_dev. So everything I'm doing is inside of this schema, right? So we have done things in the tables, but everything would be in these views. So interesting stuff. So if I come here and I pull in my airport data that has been cleaned, this is what we get, the clean data. So every modeling we're going to do going further will be built on this clean version of the data. Now dbt also helps us manage quality like this, because every other transformation, every other modeling would be based on this clean data, right? Not on the original source data. You get the point, right? Okay, so I hope we got a thing out of this first part of this video. I had to rush it up. Maybe I'll break it into 2 videos, but then it's okay, I'll just leave it at 1 video. Right, so the next part of the video, the next part of this series, we're going to identify the facts and dimensions of our data, and then start doing the modeling using dbt. Thanks so much for watching. See you in the next video.